What's up, fam? I'm Joey, you know. Today we're speaking with a world-class singer-songwriter, father to a beautiful baby girl, and just for a little cherry on top, one of his songs is about to join Spotify's Billion Streams Club, which is a very special membership reserved only for the songs that really touched our hearts and touch our heart he has. It's James Bay. What's up, man? How you doing?
Hey, man. Oh, wow. What an intro. Thank you so much. Yeah, I'm good. I was actually just told recently about that. It's Let It Go, right? I think he's on the way to a billion, which is I was with someone in a room. I can't remember where we were, and they were looking. And they said, hey, did you know that Let It Go is going to be at a billion soon? And I said, wow, I didn't realize. So it's very exciting. It's very cool. Anyway, thanks for having me, man. It's nice to be here.
Oh, yeah, for sure. I think it's 980 right now. But the thing is, James, there are only, I think, at maximum 300 million subscribers to Spotify, which means that there are people out there who are listening to your songs over and over again. And I don't imagine you're someone who really cares much about numbers, but how does that make you feel that someone is listening to you so many times?
I try not to think about the numbers because it feels like if you think too much about it, it'll sort of drive how you create. Yeah. But it is, of course, very exciting and flattering to find that out, that there's people out there, given the amount of people that subscribe to Spotify, there's people playing my music again and again. And Let It Go has been on there since 2014 or 2015. So yeah. It's crazy that it still gets played so much. It's unbelievable.
It's been almost a decade. Some of the songs that people listen to the most are, of course, Let It Go, Hold Back the River, and that one with Julia Michaels, Peer Pressures. I think those are the top numbers. And the thing about a song well written is that at different stages in your life, you listen to it and you get something different out of it.
Yeah.
For you, you're at a different stage in your life. I mean, you've had Ada is what, 10 months, maybe almost a year now?
Yeah, 10 months.
When you go back and listen to your earlier compositions, do they bring you a different kind of vibe?
Yeah, they do. It's amazing how you grow with the songs. Some of the songs on my first album I wrote 10, 11 years ago.
Yeah.
And now suddenly some of the songs on my second album are coming up to, they're like 6, 7 years old. Anyway, yes, the sort of, I think the thing that happens the most for me is I find out as time goes by what different lines like really mean.
Yeah.
That the songs and individual lyrics within the songs end up meaning more or revealing themselves in different ways as time goes by.
Yeah, it's like that English literature class that you take in high school, right? Everyone reads it differently, and the teacher always wants to tell you what's one way to see how Shakespeare is telling a story, but you're like, oh no.
I think that's, I'm not talking about myself here, but if we're talking about Shakespeare, then the beauty of great writing is that it will have many different effects on different people over time.
Yeah, very true. So for the young and reckless James Bay, back 10 years ago, early 20s.
Yeah.
And then now, of course, every song is telling a different side of your story. So here's the thing, just a little side arc. I'm about to be a dad myself soon.
Oh man, congratulations.
Thank you. My boys might be born in the same month as Ada. Ada was born in October, is that correct?
October, yeah.
Okay, so as a new dad, do you have any tips now that you're almost a year? You've almost graduated new dads?
Yeah. Okay. Tips. Honestly, the first thing that comes to mind is it's two things. It's in the first couple months, as crazy as it might seem, sleep as much as you can.
Yeah.
In all the moments, if your baby is asleep, go try and go to sleep. And it's weird when it's like 1:30 in the afternoon. You're like, I don't sleep at 1:30. Yeah. Anyway, I would say maybe do that if you can. But the other thing is just like, and this is hard because you'll be tired, but like organization is key. Like you've got to try. You're going to need some time to do the you stuff. Yeah. And there's going to be much less of it initially. So like that's my top tips. Like sleep and like write things down, organize as much as you can.
I can't get told enough about the sleep parts, but I wonder, as a creator, when inspiration comes to you, you can't tell it that it can only come to you at 8 p.m. when there is a moment when Ada is napping. So how do you do it? Like when she goes to sleep and you can't create, what do you do?
I kind of go into like the kitchen and do it as quietly as I possibly can. I suppose, I tell you what's interesting about that though, is it has refined my senses in terms of like, I really have to ask myself if the thing that's coming into my brain is like worth chasing, or if it's some of them, not many, but some of them are like, no, I'll leave that and see if it comes back to me. But when time changes and becomes a little bit more sort of precious when you have a baby, like I think I ask myself that sometimes. And if I got to rush into the kitchen, shut the door and be really quiet, then so be it.
Of course. So we're talking about a new album, and we really appreciate you, James. While having a baby, while the pandemic is raging, you found the time to give us a whole album. However, the first single from this album was from 2020, and you've created a whole lot in between, right? What's the time frame for Leap, and what are some of the songs you eventually decided to put into it?
It was a crazy time frame because I felt like it was finished. Well, it was finished in March 2020. I finished it. I remember I put this song "Chill My Heart" out later in the year.
Yeah.
I put that song out in the hope that the year would kind of open up and I'd be able to sort of follow it through, and maybe we could sort of act like there was never really a break. But as 2020 went on, even though I'd finished this album, I'd been making it in Nashville in America.
Yeah.
The year never opened up. 2021 never really opened up. So in all that time I spent sort of sat at home, I jumped on Zoom with a few different writing friends and producer friends, and some people I was getting to know for the first time, and we just kind of created in the only way that we could, or collaborated in the only way that we could in those times, which was online. And I wrote a bunch of songs. Some of them I just thought these are too good to make them wait, so they sort of bullied their way onto the album that I thought was finished from 2020.
Yeah.
So it was the strangest time for making music. I'd love to never have to make an album in a pandemic ever again.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
Oh yeah, for sure.
But yeah, I'm really excited and happy with how it all came out.
Yeah, but let's just hope we never have to do that again, like you said. But also, like you said, you worked with some very talented producers and songwriters like Ford Vance, Dave Cobb, and of course Finneas, right? How could we forget about Finneas? What's it like to work with them, and was it always over Zoom? And how did you meet Finneas, for example?
It's sad that it was entirely over Zoom and on email as well, and which is a shame. But like he was, it was a great collaboration to be able to do. It was a great opportunity to get his manager and my manager are friends.
Okay.
His manager and my A&R guy, but like talking. My A&R guy said, like, we're looking for someone to help on this song. And I guess between the two of them, they kind of, Ben, my guy, said, like, would Finneas be interested? Anyway, long story short, sort of cut to however many weeks or whatever later, and I was talking to Finneas on Zoom, and he was telling me, we were talking about this song, and he said he really loved it and would love to get involved. And he was telling me about how 7 or 8 years ago, it was the first time I ever went to America to the Grammys. It's the first time I went to the Grammys. And Finneas was telling me about how around the show, he came to see me. He said, I was in college. And I was like, wow, you're a really young guy. And he said, I was in college, and I came to listen to you talking and singing, because I was doing like a Q&A type of show where I would sing songs and then stop between songs and there'd be someone on stage interviewing me and all this stuff.
Yeah.
To like 100 people. And he was in the audience for that. So he's like, I've been a fan of yours for a while, which was kind of an unbelievable thing, because he's a very busy, very exciting, important, popular person, and you just never expect. He's kind of from a slightly different generation to me as well. So I just never expected it. And he said, man, no, I've been listening to music since you started releasing music. So it was a very kind of cool connection. And then the rest of the time we just talked about the music that we loved, which was a lot of the same stuff.
That's pretty crazy. You wouldn't know the story about him unless your A&R guy knew to correctly matchmake you to his manager. So sometimes it's about those guys knowing who to match you to.
Definitely, because I had no way of sort of, I didn't have like his number or anything. I couldn't just sort of call him up and say, hey, would you be interested in this? So yeah, I credit to my guys. Like they certainly, they just kind of try this stuff if they know someone, and this time it really kind of came together.
But then again, truth be told, it's because we're of the same like email generation. But I think the kids these days, they do the DM thing, right? They do the Instagram thing. So
I know exactly what you're saying. I know what you're saying.
Okay, so let's talk about that Finneas song, because I know there's going to be a lot of songs that we should probably talk about, but due to a limited time for this chat,
okay.
Save Your Love. sounds like it could be a song that has some fatherly wisdom in it.
I mean, yeah, Ada wasn't actually born yet when I wrote all of these songs, but it's interesting. When I talked to you earlier about like songs evolve over time and they end up meaning, they end up meaning different things like later on. And already, I mean, I wrote that song over a year ago, and it's funny how it resonates now that I am a parent, now that I'm a father. Ada is sort of, it's ultimately, the song is rooted in sort of relationship stuff. Yeah. And she certainly isn't there yet, not for a while. But it's funny, how there's kind of some advice in the lyrics, don't, it's a song that sort of says, don't spread yourself too thin. Don't give too much of yourself so that there's sort of none of you left for you. That's kind of what it's about. Save some of yourself. Cherish what you have, who you are. I think when I was writing that song, I wanted to hear that kind of thing. So that's why I sort of wrote it at the time. And it'll be interesting what it means to other people. It's been interesting playing it live and fans talking to me saying, I really needed to hear those words, which is crazy. Yeah. That it can mean so much to other people. That's never not amazing. So, it kind of hits on a few deeper levels, and some songs, maybe that one, kind of continue to do that over time. It's not old enough yet to really know, but we'll see.
Gotcha. Yeah, so we've come full circle, right? About some of the songs that you can listen to at a different stage in your life. You get something else out of it, even for the creator himself. So there you go. Listen to James Bay. Listen to James Bay over and over again when you're in your teens, in your 30s, when you become a parent or a grandparent. But surely listen to this album, Leap. And James, thank you so much for joining us here today.
Thank you, Joey. Thanks, man. Great to see you.